And that was like the real light bulb moment for me when we started EOS. They talk about there's 3 functions in a business. There's sales and marketing, there's operations, and there's finance and admin. And you need someone in charge of everything. And I'm like, oh, like sales, like who does sales? And everyone's looking at me going, that's you, Kate. I'm like, really? Like, what is sales in our business? Like, it's not like we're selling a product, but actually we are.
Yeah.
And that's what a concept design is. It's a sales pitch.
I'm Linda Habak, and this is Build Beautiful. This isn't just a podcast about design. It's about the people behind the work and the truth behind the journey. The quiet pivots, the bold decisions, the failures no one sees, and the moments that change everything. Each episode, I sit down with architects, designers, developers, artists, and creative entrepreneurs, not to talk about success, but about what it takes to get there. The process, the doubt, the grit, the heart. If you believe in creating with meaning and living a life with intention, then you'll feel right at home here. Welcome to Build Beautiful, where design meets depth. Today's guest is someone whose name may feel familiar, not just for the homes she's helped shape, but for the many years she spent telling stories about design from behind the editor's desk. Kate Nixon began her career in magazines, eventually becoming interiors editor at Australian House and Garden, where she helped define an era of Australian interior imagery, warm, elegant, and grounded. But what happens when the storyteller becomes the creator, when the editor builds the studio? In this episode, we trace the journey from editor to entrepreneur, from laying out features on other people's homes to laying the foundations for her own namesake brand. We talk about the intentional choices behind building a business that balances beauty with clarity, why she adopted the EOS business model to bring structure to her creative practice, how she leads with vision, curates with emotion, and holds the tension between styling and systems, storytelling and scale. This is a conversation about finding your rhythm as a founder, about letting your values shape your business model, and about building a brand that reflects not just what you do, but who you are. Here's my conversation with Kate. Hi.
That was beautiful. You can write the blurb for my website.
Very happy to do that.
Beautiful. Thank you for those beautiful words.
Very welcome. Very well. I've trained my ChatGPT very, very well. It's very specific. It's not slop, I promise. When I was thinking about who I would curate to be part of this first season, you were absolutely top of the list because I have so much respect for you. We've been on a panel together before, but I love how you approach interior design and the industry as a whole. I think your strategic mind really resonates with me, and I really am obsessed with strategy. But also, I think you're just approaching it in a really interesting way, and I'd love to unpack that whole conversation today. Not sure we're going to have enough time, but we're going to do what we can. But I think I'd love to, every great story and every great business starts with a beginning. So I'd love to kind of let's rewind back to where it all started for you and was it a childhood moment where you thought, yes, I want to be an interior designer, or I want to be in interiors, or where did it all begin for you?
I think it was, just right back at you. I have a lot of respect and admiration for you too, Linda. So it's an honour to be here.
Thank you. I love
Thanks
you.
for having me. You're very much an origin story for me. I don't think I really understood what an interior designer was for a long time, but my parents are furniture makers.
Oh, wow.
I grew up on the factory floor, and my afternoons after school were hanging about furniture pieces and all of the veneer rooms and the French polishing, and my brother and I playing around just making games up. So I think I was always surrounded by craftsmanship and natural materials, and the furniture that my parents produce is an art quality, intense attention to detail. So I think I also just absorbed a lot of that from them. Dad always had beautiful books about furniture and interiors, and I loved looking at them. So I think even though I didn't manage to find my way into this career for a little while, I was always surrounded by interiors and home and making and craftsmanship. And I think that's been the grounding, as most people, when you peel back to when they're a kid, seems to inform your passion in life.
That's right.
So that was kind of the early days beginning. I remember Mum letting me pick the paint colour for my bedroom when I was like 10, and there was like 10 shades of green. Like obsessed over a 4-poster bed for one of my birthdays, a canopy bed with the frills and the tulle so I always was, aware and loved all that stuff. And then it was my actually first job was in a factory, a biscuit factory, running a company called Mother Meg's, so I really came from food, and my parents were also big foodies. My grandmothers were great cooks, and I've always loved food. And I found myself in this job running this gourmet biscuit factory and doing HACCP quality control and learning how to run the books and do the wages and do the finance reports. And it was really like trial by fire. I was only 17 when I started, straight out of school, when I started working for Kay, and that was a huge, like I say, nothing's ever been that hard. It was really, really hard.
Gosh,
we had no cash. I just learnt all about cash flow, which has served me very well through my life, and just the grit and the Kay who owned the business, would park her car in the factory overnight to change the ovens with the plum puddings every 6 hours. We did private label for Maggie Beer and Simon Johnson, and we exported to Harvey Nichols and Harrods, and so the business grew exponentially, and that gave me a really great grounding for business. I think also that my parents had their own business all my life, so I really saw what it takes to do that. There was no rose-coloured glasses, and I always thought I wanted to do my own thing, but I kind of evolved into styling because I met my husband, Tim, who's a pilot, and I decided one day I'd like to learn to fly, and he was my flying instructor. So he taught me to fly, and then he promptly moved to Sydney, and I was in Queensland, so we had a year and a half of long distance, and he wanted me to come down. I said, I'm not coming down unless you're serious about this. Yeah. So we got married. I got married at the ripe old age of 20. I had no second thoughts about it.
I love it.
Down I came to Sydney, and because I'd been working in the food, and I knew some of the editors from doing editorial shoots for the biscuits, so I knew I had a few contacts. And Tim, one of his colleagues, was another pilot. His wife was the then deputy editor of House and Garden magazine, and they came to our house for a drinks party, and she called me afterwards and said, would you like to come and style a food shoot? And I was like, sure. I had no idea what the hell she was talking about. Well, there was such a thing as a food stylist. And so then off I went, learning how to style food and doing food shoots, and from there evolved into interiors shoots, and then came on staff as houses editor first and interiors editor under Lisa Green and then Tanya Buchanan.
Gosh.
And alongside of that, I know everyone sort of says you had the magazine career and then you went into your own, but I actually opened our store in Transvaal Avenue in 2007. So I've kind of had two career. I've just worked like 20 hours a day for 20 years. Yeah, and I think I was forced, because I always was working in the mags at the same time as growing the business. I always had staff right from the beginning. So I think that kind of helped in a way set a bit of a stage for being able to delegate and find people who could work with us, who could do things that I couldn't. And so right from the early days, we had a small team. But the turning point was kind of as we were starting to grow just before COVID, and I was like, this is all getting beyond, like I can feel the wheels are going to fall off. And I was listening to an interiors podcast, an American podcast, and this woman was talking about EOS. And I was like, what is EOS? And I Googled it, and it's Entrepreneur's Operating System, this American things that was started by Gino Wickman, has absolutely nothing to do with interiors whatsoever. But it's just a really, really simple structure for running a business and and we were way too small really to start implementing it. But I was like, oh, well, like...
I love that.
I just pinged off an email to the website, the American website, got a reply back the next day. She put me in touch with they're called an implementer, who will kind of work with you like a business coach effectively. And I met this guy, and he was just leaving the system. He said he had like 5 of his own businesses. He was stopping the coaching to go and run his own businesses. But he said, I've been a business coach for years, and this by far I think is the best system. It's just so simple. It's just really common sense, and I'd highly recommend it. And he gave me the names of a couple of other guys who I met our guy Martin, and he was just like no nonsense. He came from a marketing background. He had absolutely no idea about interiors, which I really loved. I was like, he's just like, it's just coming from a real business mind, nothing to do with what we're doing. And so we started working with him in 2021.
Amazing. Okay, we've jumped a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to stay at EOS because since I've heard you talk about it, I've done a little bit of, reading about it, but take me through exactly what it is and then how did you implement it and how has it served you?
Yep.
So I really want to kind of unpack the EOS model.
Yep. So there's a book that's called Traction because it really explains, it's a very easy read. And on the back of the book, it says, do you have a grip on your business or does your business have a grip on you? And you're just reading it like nodding. That question. As I read the book, my neck was sore. I'm just nodding. Oh, yes, this is all the things happening to us. It's remarkable how it doesn't matter what industry you're in, business is business and the same. It just takes you through the system, but essentially they call it a meeting pulse. So it's just discipline and accountability. And that's all it is. And it's really hard to learn. We all cried for like a year.
Those things. Just by the way.
Yeah, we all do. It's not human. It goes against human nature. Yeah, it serves you well if you can. And it just forces a rhythm into the business of we do a daily huddle, we do weekly, they're called L10s, weekly whips between the different parts of the business. We do quarterly workshops, which are off-site with the leadership team, and then we do a 2-day annual. So it's this kind of pulse. It's just the idea of these quarterly rocks, and it's kind of creating a focus. The first workshops that you do, actually the first one you do the accountability chart. It's not an organisational chart, it's an accountability chart, which I loved.
Yes,
Who's accountable for what?
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that was very enlightening. He was like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me too.
Oh, and I think I'm the bottleneck for that and that and that.
So my poor team at the time just got chucked into seats. We were like, okay, you're going to be head of marketing and you're going to be the integrator, and we'll just all do our best. It was very hard. The first year was really hard, but we have stuck to it like glue.
Great.
And when I met with the first guy who said he was leaving, but he said, this is my advice to you. You can take the bus or you can take the plane. What would you like? You can self-implement or you can work with an implementer. And I was like, I'm happy to take the plane at this point.
That's the investment, right? You just make
and it is an
investment.
It is a cost, but I can't tell you, I don't think we'll ever get rid of Martin. It's just also I feel like I've got a bit of an advisory board as well.
Yes.
He's just I can ring him anytime. He just sits above the trees and kind of seems to get right to it and just keeps us all on task and keeps us accountable, keeps me accountable to the team. And it really gives a lot of clarity to the team. People just want to know what is expected of them, what does good look like, and also it's open book, so everybody knows everything. The whole team know our numbers. And it's just when he kind of said that at the beginning, this is how it works, I was like, well, how does that go? And he said, Kate, if it doesn't work out with someone, then they're not the right person for the business.
Exactly.
And I had a real affinity. I really resonated with me because of all those years working at the magazine, we were really in the dark and we never knew. We were kind of told, oh, you're over budget, or we were never told what the budget was.
You don't know what you're aiming for.
I want to help you. I'm the kind of person that I really want to help, and how can I help us achieve the goal? But we never really knew what the goal was, and it was really hard. So I completely understood that. And I was like, look, if I want great people around me and if I want them to feel empowered and getting, satisfaction out of their role, and then they need to know what's going on and they need to know.
Well, you have to set the vision, don't you? As the leader and the founder, you've got to set the vision, and these people have got to buy into that vision and want to be part of it. And they need full transparency, I think, to do that. Yeah, so I have an open book too with my team. So they know everything, every detail, every dollar. Yeah.
So same, served us well.
Okay, let's rewind for a second. What were the pain points before you decided I've got to implement this system? I want to just go back and understand, what did it look like? What was going through your mind? What were the struggles? And what tipped you over the edge to go, right, no, I have to do something about this and I'm going to implement this system?
I think it was the business growing to a point where I couldn't do it all myself. So I'd been very reactive instead of proactive, and a client would call, I would literally put down what I was doing and run to site. I learned that there's a way of doing that better for the client, and that's having this system and structure actually means I can give a much better service and product to the client. As the business had grown, I wasn't able to give that level of service to every single client, and that was killing me. I feel like I'm starting to lose. I can't stay on top of all of this. This is not scalable. How are we going to, grow the business? We have to do it a different way.
That leads me to my next question, which is, what does EOS give you to be able to scale a service business? Because I know what it takes to service a client, and there's a cap of how much we as a team can do. And so I want to understand, what does scalability look like for you in your business?
As I was growing, and I would talk to my clients, and I would say, what's the secret? And everyone would just say, I've got great people around me. And I'm like, well, that's great.
What does that mean?
But how did you get them, basically? Yeah. Because, great people cost money, and I've got no money. And how am I going to, it's like the chicken and the egg.
Yes.
It is all about the people around you. You can't do it on your own, for sure. And you have to get really great people around you. And how do you get great people around you? It is inspiring them, and it is trusting them, and it is like giving them a part of that vision. And I think the way that EOS helps is that it just gives you a system and a structure for articulating what is the vision, for articulating what are the core values. It's like a magnet. I talk about it with my suppliers. I talk about them with my clients. I talk about them with the team, my family, like the same values for my family, because it's just people are either love it and attracted to that, or are repelled, and then you're just not the right fit, which is perfectly fine.
So talk to me, what are the values of Kate Nixon?
So the values are do your best, which is what I tell my kids all the time. And I tell it to, the removalists with the couch stuck halfway down the, thing saying can't get in. I'm like, well, do your best. Like, that's all I can ask. If it can't get in, it can't get in. If you've done your best, that's fine. But you better do your best.
Get that couch in.
You better try. Okay, if you've tried, I'm happy to accept it. So very much do your best. Do as you say, which is about integrity, and that's like fundamental in life, I think. Work as one. So we're very much, and again, I use this with the trades a lot. I use it with our team and with our clients, is that we're all on the same team. We are all one team. And I say with the builders and any trade, the paint, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, and I really expect you not to do the same to me, and to have the courtesy to come to me. And we have no ego. We are all here to make it better. If we've drawn something that you think is really dumb, please tell us.
Yeah,
so we can make it better.
Don't go to the client and tell them they don't know what they're doing.
Just, we're happy to be wrong. We're happy to take responsibility, but, we're all here to work together. And I have such respect for our trades and for our suppliers. We can't do it without them.
Absolutely.
They're unreal. I have such respect for my team. And don't be afraid is which again to the clients, don't be afraid to tell us if you don't like something. This is your home. Don't feel intimidated. We're here for you. Don't be afraid to the team. If you see something, speak up. Don't tell me 10 months down the track that you never liked it's not helpful. Speak up. Don't be afraid to do the right thing. Don't be afraid to stick your hand up and ask a question.
Absolutely. How did you come to those values? What process did you go through?
Yes, so we do this in one of the first workshops at EOS. The whole team were in the room, and Martin asked us to all think about 3 people in our lives who we really admire and respect. So everybody kind of wrote down all their lists, and we put all these words up on the board, and then we kind of went through and collated, what are the similar words for the same thing, and distill. That's how we did it.
Love it.
So we did it together, so it feels like they've never changed in the whole time that we've been running EOS.
And do you revisit the core values on a yearly basis?
Every quarter we just run through them in the workshop. Do they still make sense? So we still, and we really, they talk about needing the values into the business like dough. We call out core values every morning in the huddle, every week in our L10s, hashtag do your best, such and such did an awesome job at such and such, hashtag work as one, such and such. So it's really, it's real. It's not just something we wrote on a piece of paper and stuck in the drawer. We've got them up on the wall. They're very much a big part of the business. And I think, and also when you're hiring, it's really, they talk about the right person in the right seat is one of the principles of the EOS, and the right person is the core values. So when we do our catch-ups with the team, there's the bar, and they get a plus or a minus on the core value. And if there's 2 minuses, that's not okay. We all hold ourselves to this standard, and this is what we expect. It's a non-negotiable. And then the role is kind of a separate. They've got a really good little, it's called, do they get it? Do they want it? Do they have the capacity to do it? GWC. Do they get it? Do they want it? Do they want this role? Are they happy to do it? And do they have the capacity, both the ability and the time to execute the role? And if any of those is a minus, they're not in the right seat.
That's incredible. And so you use this system for every hire.
Yes, and and for every performance review, or we actually just call them like quarterly catch-ups. It's not an onerous thing. It's actually a great positive. That's also a really great cheat sheet. It's just a one-pager. You do the core values and the GWC, and then it's what's working, what's not working in your role in the business. It's just great to get the feedback about what's working, what's not working. So someone might have an opinion about some other random part of the business, which is awesome insight, and you just get the feedback from the front line.
I love it. I'm sold. Who do I sign up?
I've clearly drank the Kool-Aid.
Okay, I am there with you. I've done a lot of strategy sessions over the years, but this is good. This is a really good system. I do want to ask, because obviously it's a very structured model, and even though it's very, very simple, but how do you balance that structure and creative freedom? Because at the end of the day, you're a designer and a visionary. So how do you straddle both those?
I actually heard this on another podcast, this woman saying, and she was an interior designer, saying that systems will set you free. And I think that is the truth of it. It actually, it's the opposite of what people think. I think people think systems mean that you become constrained and rigid and ruled by and have no creativity. But systems actually you're just trying to repeat success, and you're trying to define what worked and write that down and do that again. You're just not reinventing the wheel every time, which is what you do when you don't have a process for something. And how much time do you waste? So that really worked. Let's do that. That didn't work. Let's not do that again. Yeah. And so it's just refining that process so that you don't have to think about that. So you have way more time to think about the creative stuff and do the fun part.
Did you have to unlearn something in order to step into this model? Like, were there habits that you had that you didn't even know you had? So talk to me about that. What does that look like?
There's also a really great exercise that you do in the annual review where you go around the team, and first of all you say something about yourself that no one else knows. So it's like, on a scale of 1 to 10 in pain, this one's a 1. This is not a painful exercise, and you just share something, and you're kind of getting to know each other and build the bond, the team bond. Yeah. Then you go around and you say something that you really admire about each other. So one person's the target, and everyone goes around and says something that they really admire about you. And he's like, now take note of that. This is like a 3 or 5, kind of uncomfortable, but write that down, because what people are telling you is what they want you to keep doing. This is something they really like about you. Keep doing that. And then you go around and you say something that you don't appreciate about the other person, something you would like them to stop doing. And it's just about your blind spots. And it is, I love it, because I just always want to learn, and I always want to do better, and always want to improve. So I think it's just understanding what the blind spots are, and no one can tell you that better than the people close to you and working with you. So then you kind of pick one of this feedback and you make that your focus for the year, and that's what you're going to. So my one is to do less better this year, because I do a lot of stuff, and the team are like,
hang on. I need to break that down in my mind. To do less better.
Yes.
As in to do less.
To do less.
Yeah.
And that way we can do those things better.
Okay, got it.
They're like, look, we're doing all this stuff and it's great, but how much better could it be if we actually did less? Right. It's just that kind of focus. Okay. And I am a classic. There's another book in the series called Rocket Fuel, where you read about the visionary and the integrator. And then it's like, know thyself and be free.
Oh, yes.
These are your strengths and these are your weaknesses.
Yes, I relate to that a little bit, because I have lots of ideas. Yes. But you need
the visionaries are chasing the shiny things. And there's lots and lots of visionaries. The integrators are the gold, and they're the ones that actually get the stuff done. So it's a great idea. Everyone's got a great idea. Execute the great idea.
When you look at your business, do you have sort of a percentage that need to be visionary versus the integrators, or does everyone have to be an integrator with a little bit of visionary, or are you the visionary?
So I am the visionary, which was something I had to kind of own, because in my role at Mother Meg's back in the day, Kay was the visionary and I was her integrator. So I never had thought of myself. And then, when I'd work with an editor, I always had an editor-in-chief in the mags, and I felt like I was there to execute for them and deliver for them. So I never really saw myself in that role. And it wasn't until I kind of read this book thinking, like, they go through your strengths and your weaknesses. I was like, yes.
Actually, I'm a classic visionary. Okay, so I want to stay here then, because I want to start sort of talking about the Kate Nixon brand as a brand. How did you start that process of defining what the brand is? Did you always sort of have a vision of what you wanted it to be, or has it evolved? I understand the EOS as far as practice and process and structure in the business. But from a branding perspective, how did you define that?
I really struggled in defining Kate Nixon as a brand because I felt like it wasn't smart to call a business my name. I just sort of felt like if I'm going to build something, there's two types of entrepreneurs. There's the flipper. They'll go, they'll buy and sell and build hundreds of businesses. And there's the sticker, and they just build one business and that's that. And I was like, yeah, I am a sticker. I do not see myself building and selling many businesses over my time.
No.
Therefore, okay, like it's my name. It can be anything.
But I think what I would say is whilst you're a sticker, you're also, though, diversifying and doing lots of different things under that brand. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to get to is the evolution of all of those different arms of the business. And did that just evolve over time, or did you have this grand vision of what you thought the different arms of the business could be?
I think because I started with retail, and the retail was called Basardi, so that was the 8th-generation Italian family that Tim and I were on holidays in Europe and wandered into this shop and got to know the guy who sent us off to meet the family. And the next thing, we're opening a shop in Transvaal Avenue in Double Bay with all this fabric.
Most expensive street in Sydney, by
I'm
the
like,
way.
it's got to be in Transvaal Avenue, with a whopper rent and fabric that no one's buying. And like 6 months in, Tim was like, this is it. Like, when you're calling it, this is not going well. But I was like, no, I haven't tried everything. Like, I don't want to flog a dead horse, but I'm not giving up till I've tried everything. And there's still all these things we're trying. So I quickly learnt people weren't buying bolts of fabric, but they wanted the bed head covered or the curtains made. So I found workrooms, and I still work with most of them today, and just started offering this made to measure. And that's how the interiors evolved, because we would be in the house doing curtains and bedspreads, and they'd want some lampshades and a lamp base and a rug. And actually we need the bathroom renovated. And so my first full-time employee, I had casual stuff in the retail, but then our first full-time was an interior architect. And then from there we kind of built out the team doing more and more of the interiors projects. So the interiors really evolved from the retail. So we've always had the retail. So it was a completely different way of coming.
Yeah.
And most interior designers I know who have a store had their interior design practice and then opened the store. So we kind of came back to front. So the retail's always been a part of it. And I've always loved the retail. I still fight for it because it makes the brand accessible, and it means people can just wander in and buy a little thing and take it home, and they don't have to spend, because in the interior, for us to really deliver good value, there is a minimum spent for us to make sense in the equation of the cost of a build. They really need to be doing, and not everyone, not even just that if they can't afford it, but it's not, you don't redo a house every year. Like, you might do it once in your life, or
but you change your cushions, and you'll buy accessories.
Exactly. Yeah, and absolutely. I also really loved that as we started to do these projects, and you get to know your clients, and they become part of, you're in their house, and they're cooking your cake, and you get to know the kids over 3 years, and they're part of your life. And then it's so weird, the job finishes, and
I know, it's
that's
really
it.
sad. I'm still friends with all my clients, though. They can text me anytime.
But they can also come into my shop.
Yes, exactly.
So it's really nice too. And we have events in there, and they can come in. Like, it's just a nice, I kind of feel like that's circular,
Does the retail part of the business, can you justify it? Does it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
We're pretty invested in growing. We've launched e-com last year, and we're doing our own product design, and we're importing our first container of product that we've designed and curated and kind of invested in quantity, because the e-com, we really, after like 6 months, we're like, this is not, unless we've got our own stuff and we've got enough margin to justify the marketing. Like, another guy in the industry was like, Kate, you've got to, like, did you spend, your shop e-com is another shop, and you need to spend rent on your advertising. Like, it's no free ride. Like, you either pay rent in a shop or you pay rent online.
It's so true, because during COVID, just to digress, during COVID, I looked into launching an e-com business. I had a couple of, and as I started doing the deep dive, I'm like, oh, holy shit, no, this is not going to work. E-com is a beast.
It's a beast.
And to really make that successful, I think it's all the things that you've said. You've got to actually either import or design your own range, and because the margins just don't work. They just don't work if you're buying and selling.
Yeah, exactly. So we're learning the lessons, and we're trying everything.
And how did you go with, I guess, that whole process of designing your own range, but then finding the trusted suppliers to produce the product? So was that a whole learning, or did you have to bring in?
It was, but I got a consultant who I've known forever, and I had him, again, I was like, the bus or the plane? Yeah. Who can help me here? I'm so going to use this analogy,
the bus or the plane. I like planes.
I'm too old now to like learn from scratch for the next 20 years.
Yeah, let's go business class on that plane, thank you.
Can we shortcut this? Exactly. And just like fail really fast so that we can get there.
Fail fast. I love that. Quickly. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's just really hope Build Beautiful doesn't fail fast. Please, God.
You have to. You have to get there. You know, the kids' book, The Bears, like you're going on the bear hunt. Yes. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You have to go through
Go through it. Oh, yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's just the pain. But anyway, it's good. Pain, what's another thing? Or everything good is on the other side of hard.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not afraid of hard. Hard is good if it's joyful too, and you know where you're trying to get to. And I think that's where the vision comes in.
Yeah.
I love your brand tagline, Everyday Joy. I love that.
Me too.
Like the word joy for me is, I just say it to everyone, just look for the joy.
Yeah.
Every day look for the joy. Don't look for the shit because it's there.
Yes,
but look for the joy. So everyday joy, it's just...
My mother also, well, she says it about people, which is very nice. She said, if you look for the good, you'll find it. And if you look for the bad, you'll find it.
Absolutely.
So, look for the good.
Look for the good,
and that's very much and I read this book early on in my reading that just had at the start, the secret to happiness is gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
And in our huddle, everyone has to say one thing they're grateful for every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning.
How do you huddle? Do you huddle face to face?
We do it on a WhatsApp.
On a WhatsApp.
Because we've got we've got the store and the studio, and inevitably people are on site or, running around or wherever. So we do a video call. In COVID, there was a bit of pushback. Oh, could we not do the video? And I was like, we'll do the video.
So you do a WhatsApp
we can all
video
brush our
call.
hair by 9 a.m.
I love it. So it's a WhatsApp video call. How many people are on this call?
There's maybe 15 of us.
That's
13,
amazing.
15, depending on who. Or so if you can't make it, you send a message on the huddle and you say, I'm on a call or I'll be, I'll miss it. This is what I'm grateful for. This is what I achieved yesterday, and this is my priority today.
That's fantastic. I'm so going to implement this. I love it.
And it just helps us all too, because someone will be like, oh, I'm off to the showroom. Oh, also, can you pick up this sample for me? Or it helps, particularly
Working
through COVID.
one.
We started in COVID, which was when it was critical because everyone was at home and we didn't know what the hell was going on. And then we've just kept it up.
But so many great principles started in COVID and have stuck. And I just think...
Yes.
It's amazing, actually. And it's really helped us. I see COVID as such a positive thing, even though it was very, very hard. But it really made us think differently and process differently. And a lot of great things have come out of that.
Yeah, I agree. And you can be grateful for the sunshine. You can be grateful for the rain. You can be grateful, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything.
Whatever floats your boat that day.
Just something. And sometimes you struggle, you're thinking and you're like, well, but it just makes you...
Yeah. But there's always something to be grateful for.
Yes.
And I think one thing, I'm a bit, into the woo-woo, as most people know, but when you are grateful for something, it just catapults into more things because you're looking for the grateful. You're looking for those moments of joy. Life is hard, of course. Everyone has challenges, and you can live in that misery and that difficulty and that drudgery, or you can really stretch yourself to kind of go, okay, it's a gorgeous day out there. It's rained for 7 days straight in Sydney, and my daughter's room smells like mold and mildew, and I need to get that fixed. But guess what? It's sunny, and I'm going to be excited about it.
Exactly.
So,
yes. So that's, I guess, that was the premise of Everyday Joy. I've also always loved the word joy, and the idea of, to me, it kind of just made sense. Originally, we had it as one of our core values,
right?
And Vera in our team was like, sort of a month after, she was like, I actually think this is the core focus, because we couldn't kind of articulate what is our core focus. And I was like, you're right. It's kind of the overarching premise for and sort of litmus test for everything that we do and take on, and clients as well. I say this to clients, we're going to be with you for 2 or 3 years. We really need to like each other. We need to respect each other. And we think about it when we design. We think about, oh, that's a great spot. Someone might sit by the window with their cup of tea, and therefore they might need we think about it with all lenses.
It's ingrained in all the decisions. I love that. With the client work, are you across every single project? How does it work? I'm just curious about this because I think when you're scaling, and you've obviously scaled and you're doing multiple things, how do you position the conversation with the client from the outset? Do they know that they're going to work with a senior designer?
Yes.
Yeah,
they do. And we're very, very fortunate. We have a gun head of design, Victoria Cebulski, who joined us, I think maybe 3 years ago, and she kind of changed the game for me.
Right.
Before that, I was doing all the project reviews, or I was going to site. I was just trying to do everything, and she took a huge load off of that. She's far more qualified and professional than me. She's amazing, and she's just kind of lifted the standards of the studio in terms of documentation and specification, and she has taken a lot of that load off of me. And then as she and I have grown the team, we've hired more seniors, and that's just changed the game, just to have senior people who know what they're doing, who are just incredibly clever and delightful humans who, we get to work with every day. Again, like every day, I feel like that's one of the best parts of having your own business is being able to get the people around you that you love and that I really trust too. When we just got a new senior starting, and I was like, your technical skills, all of that, Vic has already, and we'll have another senior review and interview, and so they're all happy with that. And then for me, like that's sort of the basics, and then the like non-negotiable is how you treat our clients and how you treat our trades and how you speak to, like, I don't care who's on site, like every single person has something to add, is to be respected and valued. It's how we treat each other that's the most important thing to me, because that's, God forbid, someone is out in the world representing our brand and me not in that way. So I think it's sort of making sure that, again, the core values help in the hire, so that hopefully we have that right person right from the get-go. We have developed we call it a capacity map, but basically just a system for running the project so that there are key milestones throughout the project. So when I meet with a client, I'll say, I am across all the projects. I'm more heavy in the concept design development stage, and I've got kind of key reviews with the team right through. So I feel like she shares that she's very respectful, and she's always, Kate, jump in. And I feel like I still very much have a voice and a say in the projects, but I also have complete trust that
it's going to get delivered.
It's getting done.
So can we talk about feeding the model? Because,
pipeline.
The pipeline. Can we
Sales.
talk about pipeline? Because it's a tricky time right now out there in the market. I've had suppliers call and builders call. And are you feeding the pipeline all the time? And what's your strategy around that? Because I know a lot of people are asking those questions at the moment. So I'd really be interested to see, how do you approach marketing and sales?
In our org chart, I sit as the visionary, and I also sit as head of sales. So one person can be in 2 seats, but you may not have 2 people in 1 seat, is kind of the rule of thumb for the EOS chart. So I'm not sure how great a job I do I'm going to do better now. This is kind of my focus this year, because I've had some big projects happening on the side, which have been, we moved into a beautiful new studio.
Yes. So is the studio in a different location to the store?
Yes.
So the store has stayed where it is?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. So store's still on Bayswater Road in Rushcutters, and our studio is just down the hill in Crown Street in Woolloomooloo.
Nice.
So we did a massive refit of that space last year, moved in November. So that was a huge distraction.
Yes.
And another project coming soon, which I've been told I can't say anything about, but I'll tell you soon, Linda.
Okay.
So
Can we talk about
a huge,
off camera, off air?
There's been a huge, when you said, when things you start out, you don't realise how much time something's going to take. This is one of those things.
Oh, really?
So that's sort of taken me off my game, but sales is obviously critical, and that was the real light bulb moment for me when we started EOS, because they talk about there's 3 functions in a business, any business. There's sales and marketing, there's operations, and there's finance and admin. And you need someone in charge of everything. And I'm like, sales? Who does sales? And everyone's looking at me going, that's you, Kate. I'm like, really? What is sales in our business? It's not like we're selling a product, but actually we are.
Yeah.
And that's what a concept design is. It's a sales pitch.
Absolutely.
And all our designers are salesmen, salespeople, because they have to sell the vision and they have to sell the product in the presentation.
Absolutely.
So we're slowly starting to make that more of a focus. I have a rock. One of my rock this quarter is pipeline and capacity planning around the pipeline. So the first step for me was, one, recognizing sales exist.
Yeah.
I am head of sales. My responsibility to drive the sales. And then the second part was the pipeline, which Martin has this very simple, it's like, this is what you need to do, Kate. You just write down all your clients, you write down how much you're going to get out of that job, and you write down the probability of, is that 100% locked in? Do you think that's 50%? Like it's a new lead, we're not sure if it's going to go ahead. You times the percentage by the value, spits out a number, total that, and that's what's in your pipeline right now. So simple, but revolutionary, because all of a sudden you just feel like you've got some visibility over what's coming. Like it's not like, oh my goodness, once this job finishes, where is the next one coming from?
Yes.
So that was like the first step. And then for me, the next step was splitting that revenue into service and procurement revenue, because both have very different gross profit margins.
They sure do. and let's be very clear and I really want to demystify this, because I have these very open conversations with clients all the time, is a design business cannot survive purely on design fees.
No, mine can't.
I definitely can't. So
might.
our business model is, well, certainly mine and most people I know in the industry, they charge design fees, but they also charge a procurement fee. And that is the business model. And we are no different to a retail store. Yeah. And if we tell you what our margins are, then you're very lucky that we're being honest and open. But, not everybody does. So, and that's fine. Yes. Everyone does it differently. That's our choice. But gosh, I've had some pushback lately.
Yes. Well, no, I'm very transparent. Like I learned early on, like there needs to be no grey area around the money. This is, upfront. We haven't taken any of your money yet. This is how we work. Yes. Is that okay with you? And
exactly.
100%. Yeah. So then we kind of split the pipeline into the service and the procurement revenue. And then the next thing was like mapping that out over a period of time, because you might think this job is going to be $500,000, but are we going to get the $500,000 this quarter or next quarter or in 2 years' time?
That's right.
When do we get? Because there's a huge lead time on some of these.
Do you have minimum procurement spends with your clients that helps you map out that pipeline?
Kind of, as in when we do the initial calls now, one of our questions is obviously the budget, but more so because we just know if it's less than whatever it depends what it is. Like, is this that budget for the whole house, or is this just a budget for the kitchen, which can obviously mean it's a good budget or not. But not so much it's a good budget or not. It's just that we're going to take so much of that budget in fees if it's under a certain amount. Then I don't feel like we're doing you a good service, because you've got that budget. You need to be spending that on product. And I think that's also for us. We've got the retail store. We offer a styling and custom service through the store. So we can kind of try to help in a few different ways and say, look, if you want to go and buy the things yourself, we've got some amazing team in the store who can come out to the house, do consultations, help zhuzh things and suggest things. And we've got pieces in the store that we can suggest, so that people don't have to kind of commit to a minute. Like, we can help them, but in the studio for sure, when we know the structure of the fees and the procurement, that there's a certain value point where we just don't make sense. And
it's good to know what that point is, because the conversation starts from there.
And it does, to me, it just does change. Like, because we'll do a kitchen, which I know some firms will only do a whole house, and I'm happy to do a kitchen I kind of think about it from the magazine lens. There's always a kitchen and bathroom feature. I've done like one kitchen, it's been on a cover. So, gold for marketing. And I can't remember I was at a top 50 event, and an architect from Melbourne had said to me the 3 Ps, the profit, the pleasure and the portfolio, like in terms of sales. And ideally you want to tick those all 3 and minimum 2 out of 3. So I go for all 3.
All 3, profit,
pleasure and portfolio.
I love that.
But portfolio for me is the last one.
Yeah, sure. Well, because...
and also not everyone wants to share their home, and that's perfectly fine too.
That's exactly right.
I think if we've done a good job and the client is happy and we're proud of the work, then ultimately you'll have the portfolio there as well. But the pleasure for them and for us, 100%.
That's my number one. Let me tell you.
That's the number one. I agree.
Be pleasure first,
100% number
because
one.
if there's no pleasure, then nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And it's just because you're up in their undie drawer for like God knows how long. So it's got to be good. Like, we got to love each other.
Exactly.
It's got to be love.
Yes. And the profit is just practical.
It's practical, and everybody needs to make money, and no one should, I think, because it's such a female-based industry, and of course it's not completely female-based, but I do think we struggle to talk about money and to ask for our value, and I think that's a really important conversation to have from the get-go. This is how we operate. This is how we charge. There's transparency around that, and it's an exchange of values. I think that's really critical, and I've really had to shift my thinking around that in my conversation. So,
yes, and I've certainly learned the hard way. If you talk to my husband, he like roll his eyes about how many conversations I've had, or just like he said, just be, because it's scary.
Yes,
and you're scared at the front to talk about money. It's like, you've got to be up front, Kate. Like, have you started this job without talking about this stuff? Or you'd be afraid to send a bill and like, don't send a bill for 3 months because you're scared to send the bill.
Yes, exactly. And then I think, no more. I'm done with that, honestly. But I'm also married to an accountant, so,
That's helpful. But I think then you realise that it's disrespectful not to. You might think it's, it's icky but actually you're not doing the right thing by the client to not have that conversation up front. Right. And no one is going to begrudge you your business. It's an exchange of value. And if people see the value in what you do, and I do believe we add great value to a project, and you finish a project and clients are, thrilled and delighted, and that's the most satisfying part of the whole project. When I had one client early on, we were doing furniture procurement, and he's like, I just don't know, why we need you here. And at the start, and I was like, I'm going to make my mission. She was, fully invested. She's like, no, we're working with Kate, and I'm making it my mission to win you over. And at the end of the job, they took us out for dinner, and he had a champagne. He's like, Kate, we couldn't have done it without you. Yes, sir.
Exactly. That's a win. I love that. And it's so true though, isn't it? Then often they just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And we don't want to be there taking their money for no reason.
No.
Like we're only there. Yeah, we're 100% there to add value. It's like the whole lens of how we work, how we try and improve our services. We're always thinking about ultimately the client and, over delivering and what more can we do and how could we have done that better. And I do a debrief with the clients after the project, and I ask them what worked, what didn't work.
Face to face?
Yes, I take them out I used to do dinner and now I do lunch because I found after a few drinks everyone says good things and it's not that helpful. I actually want to know what we could do better.
So funny.
But I'll come over to the house for a coffee, definitely face to face. And and just ask them, what worked well. And also really important feedback for me with my team as well. Because if they've had a lead, how did you work together? Was there anything we could have done better? Yeah, it's great feedback to keep improving.
Absolutely. I love that whole philosophy. What does leadership look like when you look forward now over the next sort of 3 to 5 years of the business? What is the vision for the business, and what does leadership look like for you leading the crew?
So we have a BHAG, which is part of the EOS, your big, hairy, audacious goal. So that's something that you said at the start of I think that is a Vern Harnish maybe term. And for us, that's global lifestyle brand. So that's what we're working to build. So that's like a bit of a 10-year plan, but you kind of break that down into a 3-year, 1 year, and then your quarter rocks to achieve it. I watched the documentary with Ralph Lauren on Netflix, and he was talking about the pain and the anguish of the creative pain of designing a collection. And I'm like, oh yes, like that's how we feel when we go through a concept and design development and creating this beautiful house. And then we go through that for 3 years, and then that's it. Then we start again and we build one house and we do it all again. He does that, and then he sells like 50,000 pieces of clothing.
That makes a shit ton of money.
He's the smarter. He's got
the better business model.
So the product, to me, that's where the product kind of always made sense to me, in that it's much more scalable. Than the services, and for me to scale the service business, I have to scale the team. Yes. Lead designer can really only look after 2 or 3 clients at a time to be able to make them feel like they're the only client, which is our goal. So for me, it's like scaling the business through the product is kind of, and we've been doing that through design collabs with the Boyd Blue furniture.
Yes, I saw that recently.
We
Absolutely
had Quercus
beautiful.
and Co-wallpaper and fabrics last year. So we've got lots in the pipeline for that, and just working with trusted partners who I've known forever, and that's such a joy and delight anyway. It feels like a real indulgence to kind of be doing it, but we're all obviously, doing our best to make these pieces commercially viable for them and for us. For me, leadership I love the whole servant leadership philosophy, and I think having the vision and inspiring the team, but really I feel like you inspire the team the most by doing the work and doing the stuff that, they see the hard stuff. So they see me. I was talking to someone recently and she's like, oh, it must be so great to have a team and, got a problem with a client and then they deal with that. I'm like, no, they don't do it. It's escalated to me.
Exactly.
If that's a big problem, I'm dealing with it. I'm there and I'm accountable. I'm here to make sure that they all have everything that they need. Like one of my roles as visionary is to remove the roadblocks. So if something's not working or someone's hitting a problem, that's my job to remove the block and keep things moving and making sure that they're getting everything they can out of the business and growing and moving forward.
I'm so inspired. I'm going to have to end it off with our signature question, but honestly, I've still got like 50 questions in my brain.
We'll do another one.
Anyway, we're definitely going to do a round two for sure. Our last signature question is, what does Build Beautiful mean to you?
So I think that very much is the same philosophy as our everyday joy, which is just creating beauty in the world. And I know it can sound superficial to a lot of people, and some husbands think, why do we need 5 cushions on the couch? But you do need those cushions on the couch because they're beautiful and they're joyful. And I think it's just trying to create good things in life. We live in a very fortunate, lucky country. What we do is a very first world occupation. And I think, I try to feel that sense of gratitude and privilege as often as I can remind myself that we're very lucky to be doing what we're doing and trying to make the people that we're working with, and not just the things that we do, but also when we talk about the trades and bringing them a coffee and trying to be a bright spark in their day as well. And I think also when you walk into conversations with trades and if there's something going wrong, how are we responsible? How can we fix this? It's such a great way to disarm them and, and move forward. My dad used to say, take responsibility, take control. Yeah. Just take responsibility. Even if you did nothing, you probably did something. You can find something that you did.
That's right.
You can trace it back.
I love the word disarm because I always say that you want to disarm them with love.
Yes.
Because and I know that sounds really dicky, but it's not, because we're all on the same page and we actually want the same outcome. So when you get more with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yes.
I'm not going to fight you. I'm not interested in that, but let's get to an outcome and a resolution.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Well, I'm going to take a gratitude moment in your huddle and say that I am so grateful for today's conversation. It was so enlightening. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Build Beautiful. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd follow the show, leave a review, or share it with someone who's building something meaningful. It matters more than you know. Follow us on Instagram at Build Beautiful Podcast. Until next time, keep creating with intention, and together we build beautiful.